Guys, it's May, Mental Health Awareness Month. We talked about physical health last month and how important it is. And, this one is mental health and how we've been through life, all of us, and how life takes you. Life takes you in the ups and great times, and life takes you in the bad times. And sometimes those bad times gets really bad and it pushes you into a dark hole that you never think to go out of. And it's tough when you go through that dark hole, and it's hard when you go through that dark hole because you don't know how to get out. And sometimes that dark hole, you start having thoughts of doing things to yourself you never thought you would in a million years. you know and for myself, I've been through that. And it's unfortunate. I've been through that actually several times, and I had to go through you know different things to find ways to get me through that. You guys heard the story about when I was going through my VA disability, with my foot, and how the VA told me, hey, you'll never walk and run again. And I thought about taking a whole thing of pills because I was like, you know what? I can't exercise, I can't run. And like you said in that episode, that must be hard for you because you're a very active person, so you laying in bed, you can't run and walk, it sucks. So obviously, and you don't know how long till you'll be able to do that. If ever, you're going to be start thinking things. You're like, well, screw it then. Why do I'm not married, I don't have kids, I'm just by myself. Like, who cares? You know what I mean? You start having those thoughts. And that episode, I talk about how I got through it. How I was just I woke myself up. I'm like, no, I can't do that. Well, after that, years later down the road, I end up marrying someone who, was pretty much, I kind of called it Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, because during dating, I saw red flags here and there, but it wasn't till when I got married, literally the night I got married, it was bad. It was like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde just turned, literally the night I got married. During the honeymoon, it was a bad honeymoon. Not a honeymoon that you expect a honeymoon to be. It was bad. Ended up with me sleeping on the couch the entire time.
That's a great start to the relationship right there.
Yeah, it was.
One day you'll make it to the bed.
Exactly. And it's not something you think about being on your honeymoon that you're going to be, sleeping on the couch. And it was something that she just did not. She did not enjoy my company in bed. She did not enjoy my company on an intimate level. I don't know why. I mean, it was just, it was something that it blew my mind. I didn't understand. And obviously there was something going on with her, but, as a man just got married, you're making exemptions and going, okay, maybe she's tired, maybe this, maybe that, And so during that time, I was trying to, okay, let's see what's going on with her. Let's see things that we need to get fixed. She tells me, hey, I don't like sleeping in the same bed as you because you snore. No problem. And that's fine. That's a valuable point, and I do snore. It was bad. It was bad. So I go, okay, you know what? Let me go get a CPAP machine. Let me go on the VA and be like, hey, look, I snore. They put me to sleep clinic. You know what? You got chronic sleep apnea. Okay, what do I need to fix it? You got to get a CPAP machine. No problem. Whatever I got to do to fix my marriage, whatever I got to do to fix the situation, I'm down with. Is uncomfortable as hell? Hell yeah, it is. Imagine. For the first few months, it's uncomfortable.
And then did it eliminate your snoring?
So it does. It eliminates your snoring. It's amazing. It's an amazing piece of technology equipment, but it's uncomfortable. Like, I've had it on for now 5-6 years, and it's still trying to get used to it. You know what I mean? I've gotten used to it. I kind of know where to, like, when I'm laying in bed, where to put the piping and tubing and stuff like that.
I know where to put the piping.
And, it's especially like when you're dating a girl, you know what I mean? And you have that on and, like, yeah, exactly.
You ready? Yeah, let's do it.
No, strap.
Hold on, baby, hold on. All right, and now you can get on top. It's all right, so, it's very uncomfortable. But it helped with the snoring.
Okay.
Wasn't good enough for her. Back to the couch. So obviously there was something else going on with her that, she was trying to make excuses for. I was trying to make exemptions for. I moved to another state and tried to see and try to fix all the problems that she told me she had. Try to help that make it, make the marriage work. Because, in that religion I was in at that time, you don't divorce. You marry to marry and that's it.
Where'd you move?
Moved to Arizona. Yeah, moved to Arizona. And so, you marry to marry. You don't divorce. And that's just part of that religion that I was in at that time. And it, And some people are like, well, that's how it should be. You're right. But there's also things where you just can't stay in a marriage if this keeps going on and on and on and on, you know?
Sure.
And so she had
This
a,
might be off topic, but can you elaborate on the religion?
yeah, it was Pentecost. Yeah, it was Pentecost.
Okay.
And it was, I mean, nothing wrong with the religion. It's good for some people. But after going through everything I went through, it was just a big eye opener for me.
Is that a family religion?
You know what I mean? It was. My whole family's part of that. You know what I mean? And they're part of it. They enjoy it. Nothing
Each
wrong
his
with
own,
it.
man.
Each his own.
Sure.
Exactly. You know.
Learn something new, though.
And no, yeah, you know, there's new stuff you guys don't know about me, and it's great. It's great for them, and there's nothing wrong with it for them. And you know, if you belong to that, that's fine. Myself, I learned a lot from it. Where I go, I'm going to move on from this religion, still go to church, still believe in God, but go into a different category because each is own, exactly. And so, but it was the marriage just got bad. It got so bad. It was very physically abusive. It got mentally abusive. Not from me. It was from her. And every time we fought, it was just 0 to 100 in her. And it was bad. And mentally, as a husband, you know, hearing just words constantly berating you all day long, hearing, you know, almost physical harm to you all day long, trying to almost attempt physical harm to you all day long. I'm a big guy, you know, but at the same time, when, you know, and you know this too from other previous, you know, cases in the past, when a woman attacks a man and a man tries to defend himself, the man's going to jail. That's just how it is. You know what I mean? Because a man's expecting to know how to fight. So I didn't do anything. I just kind of stood back and let it happen. And I kept a journal. I kept a log of it just for my own purpose, just to make sure if something were to happen, I have something to present in court, you know, to protect myself. But it got so bad. And we were in a house. It was a 2-story house. It got so bad to the point where I had my own room. So in 2.5 years of marriage, I slept in the same bed with her probably 3 to 4 times.
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah. It was like a roommate situation.
Yeah.
Pretty much the entire
Bad
time.
roommate at
It was a bad roommate situation. And, you know, there was times where I'd go to work and I didn't want to come home. I didn't want to come home from work. I'd be working purposely till 10 o'clock at night because I didn't want to come home. You know, I didn't want to deal with that. And then there would be times where she called me at work and just wanting to fight over the phone at work. It got so bad to the point where I felt trapped. You know what I mean? Obviously, that religion, you don't believe in divorce. So I just felt so trapped. I felt like I could not go anywhere. You know, I did not love my marriage. I did not like my marriage. And I tried. We went through marriage counseling. We did everything we could. I did everything I could to try to keep going because I go, okay, she's going through something. Let me see if I can fix it. This, whatever she needed, I try to, hey, what you need, and try to help and try to fix. Nothing worked. Nothing did. So coming in 2 years of marriage, my self-esteem was in the gutter.
Yeah.
My confidence was in the gutter. Everything, you know, think about, you're thinking about why does your wife doesn't want to touch you? You're thinking about why does your wife not want to be with you? You know, your looks, you're going, okay, she's not attracted to me and this and this. It was just bad. Overall, everything was just bad about the marriage. And so finally it got to the point where I don't know what happened. There was one incident where it just broke. I just broke. I went to the bedroom, my bedroom downstairs. Her bedroom was upstairs with her daughter's bedroom. Went to my bedroom and I just broke. I'm done. Mentally, I just broke. And I'm sure viewers and you guys have been through something where you've had enough of it. You're pretty much going through hell in different various ways. And you reach to a point where you're mentally just done. You're just mentally, I'm just done. And when you're mentally done, those thoughts of suicide start coming in your head.
For sure.
Those thoughts of going, no, I just want to end it all. Like this is the only way to escape is to end it all. So those thoughts came in my head. So I remember laying in bed and I'm just mentally done. I'm crying. I'm just mentally done, you know, with my marriage, with my life, just done. I couldn't keep going. So I remember my handgun was right next to me in a holster. I remember grabbing it, fully loaded, putting it to my head. Something I never thought in a million years I would do. Never thought. And I'm just crying. I'm just crying because my mind was just gone. My mind was just done. And I was just crying. I was just like,
Broken man.
broken. I was a broken man. I was a very broken man. And I remember I don't know if it was God, I don't know if it was an angel, I don't know what it was, but I remember laying there and I remember seeing this figure right in front of me on the bed. And this figure just looked at me and just like angry at me and go like angry, like what I was about to do. And he goes, "What are you doing?" Like I remember just looking at this, I don't know what it was, and just looking at me like, "What are you doing?" Like just angry. And that scared the crap out of me, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
That scared. I don't know what it was, but it just scared the crap out of me. And I remember putting my gun down. I remember falling on the floor on my knees and just crying, and just praying and crying. And I remember, God just like pretty much said, "Hey, don't worry. I'm going to get you out. I'm going to get you through this. I'm going to help you out with this." But I needed his help. And I needed to finally kind of open my eyes up, going, okay, if a marriage is taking you into that dark place, there's no reason to keep going.
It's time to walk.
It's time to
For
walk.
sure.
It's time to walk. You need to be done with this. You need to be done. And so, sure enough, about 3 weeks later, I filed for divorce. The paperwork's in. And even during that entire time of the divorce process, it was still hell. Text messages, calls, harassment, all this stuff. And I'm going, in my head, it just kind of didn't make sense to me. I'm like, the divorce is going. The divorce is going through. Doing that is the least thing I'd be doing. If I was in her shoes, I'd be like, "Hey, I'm so sorry for my behavior. Let's fix it. I'm going to change." But what you're doing with those text messages and those calls is you're making me reaffirm what I'm about to do. You know what I mean? And I kept every text message, I screenshotted everything and kept everything, once again, just in case something would happen. But never again, I told myself I would never, ever put myself in that situation. Ever. You know what I mean? And when I met my wife, I told her, I was like, "Hey, this is what I've gone through. This is what I'm going through." And believe it or not, it was Eliza. We started off as friends. We talked. We just started off as friends. And, she knew everything I was going through. And she would, we'd be hanging out and she would see like someone that's not me. Like she saw me, but she saw like this like cloud over me. You know what I mean? She knew who I was, but she was trying to reach me inside. She was like, "This is not you that I'm seeing. Like, it's not you." And I remember one day, man, it was just like an eye opener for me. And when I was going through that issue, when I was going through that divorce, we were walking around Little Italy with other people, and there was just a sign that someone wrote on chalk. I think it was like in front of a coffee store, and it said, "Know your worth."
Yeah, there you go.
And Eliza stopped me in my tracks and she goes, "Read that." I said, "Okay." She goes, No. Read it 10 more times. And I read it 10 more times and I took a picture of it. I still have.
Wow.
And it said, "Know your worth," because I didn't know my worth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't know who I was.
Yeah, she broke you, man.
She broke me.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't until Eliza, while we were friends, when I was going through that issue, she actually helped me build my self-esteem up. She helped me build my confidence up to the point where I remember when the divorce process was done, I felt like a new man, not just being of this marriage, but during that time, she was showing me my worth. She was showing me that you should never, ever be treated this way, ever. You know what I mean? No idea that she was going to be my future wife at the time.
Yeah.
No
Isn't
idea.
that crazy?
Yeah.
How, as big and strong as we are, right?
Yep.
A woman on one end can break you down.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then a woman on the other end can build you up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, isn't it just crazy the power that a woman has?
Mhm.
And day to day, you don't even realize that or think that
Mhm.
Yeah.
until shit goes bad or
Yeah.
needs to go back good.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that, not every woman's like that. Our wives are not like that. There's other women that are not like that.
They're
You know.
breaking us.
They're going to be there to do one of the
Yeah,
two.
yeah.
They're going to bring you up or they're going to bring you down.
Right.
I hear what you're
But
saying.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was never up for me.
Right.
With her. It was always down. You know what I mean?
Right.
And we're not perfect guys. You know that. We go home, we make a mistake.
You and me are perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man.
We go home. Yeah. We go home and, "Hey, babe, how come you didn't do this?" "Oh, man," or "Babe, you did this wrong," or "did this and this." "Okay, my bad." All right. But our wives and, obviously mine, she knows ways to talk and say, "Hey, you didn't do this right. You've, messed up," or whatever like that. "Let's fix it." And the same with me. "Hey, babe, you didn't do this right. You messed up. Let's fix it." Okay, we work on it. We're not perfect. We're still working on that right now. But you have to have that balance. You have to have that, hey, there's positivity. Hey, you did a good job. Like I was telling, Eliza the other day. I was like, hey, you know what? We were talking about love languages. I was like, my love language is words of affirmation. So if you're telling me, hey, you did a great job, thank you, that does a lot for me.
You did that right.
You know, that does a lot for me. Yeah, you guys figure that out. Yeah, that does a lot for me. You could buy me every gift in the world. You could buy me, a Ferrari, Mercedes Benz, or whatever. I'm like, oh, that's a cool car, but it doesn't really do anything for me. You know what I mean? You can, there's all these different love languages. You can tell me, hey, I'm going to go clean your house. I'm like, no, it's cool. I'll clean my own house. You know what I mean? Like, there's, like,
You don't worry about it. I'm not going to clean your house.
Yeah, I appreciate it. But I'm just saying, all those love languages. I don't know if you guys read that book. It's a great book, but it's like there's all kinds of different love languages. Touch and love, and affection and words of affirmation and acts of service and gifts and all that stuff. I've learned mine. Mine is words of affirmation and touch is below it. Everything else is kind of dead last. You know what I mean? So if you take someone that has words of affirmation, you're just constantly berating them without no uplifting. Oh yeah, you're just going to go downhill straight, quick. And so I really had to take myself out of that, and Eliza helped me get through that. Now, a lot of people don't have someone like that in their lives to, hey, I'm going through a hard time in life. I'm going through, the shit. I'm going through the ringer with whatever I'm going through. If it's finance, marriage, kids, my ex-wife, whatever's going on, they might not have that. But that's when other guys come in and say, hey, what's up, bro? Hey, man, I'm going through this. This is the main reason we built this podcast.
For sure.
This is the main reason. This is the main reason for this, is to kind of break that stereotype, break that stigma, and say, hey, if you're going through a situation, hey, man, I'm going to go to you, but hey, bro, let's go grab a drink. Let's go do something. Let's go shoot around a golf, go to the batting cage, something, and just talk.
Yeah.
Let's just talk. You know what I mean? You're going through something. Hey, man, let's go talk. You know what I mean? You know that I'm not going to go and, hey, bro, did you hear? Jonathan did this. Jonathan said this. That guy's weak. No. And whatever we talk about is between us.
For sure.
Not even our wives know. It's between us. Because we have to build that trust. And then we don't dog on each other. We don't make fun of each other. We don't criticize each other for what we just talked about. Because we're really dealing with something. You know what I mean? We're dealing with something that mentally we don't know how to get out of. We don't know how to fix. So that's why I'm calling you for your help. You know what I mean?
It's real life.
It's real life. Exactly. But I don't know what's going on. A lot of men have this stigma, have this mentality where it's like, no, man, I'm going to deal with myself. No, man, I'm going to hold it in. I'm going to hold it in. I'm going to hold it in. It's weak if we share these issues. We're not women. I'm glad I'm not a woman. I'm saying I'm glad I'm not. You know what I mean? Thank you, testosterone.
Yeah.
Anyways. But I'm just saying that it's just like, at the same time, women do that. But we could do that, but it doesn't have to be feminine. It doesn't have to be weak. It can still be strong. It can still be masculine. But, you wonder about, like, you hear these guys, unfortunately taking their own lives, committing suicide. Then you hear these guys on the news. I hear, man, I swear to man, I think I hear like once a month or twice a month on not just local news, but world news as well, United States news. Guy kills his wife. Guy kills his family. Then kills himself.
Yeah.
And you're like, don't tell me, you got to tell me there's no neighbor that saw that. No neighbor that saw warning signs. No friend of his that saw him just mentally just start disintegrating. Because it's not one day you wake up and start thinking that.
Right.
You don't just wake up one day in a normal, perfect mind and go, I'm going to go kill my wife and kids today. Right. You don't think that. A normal person with a normal mindset doesn't think that, no matter what life goes through. It's when his mindset and his mental health starts disintegrating, that's when those thoughts start coming into his head. Because he's just done. He's just done. How come there was no one there and seeing those warning signs and doing something about it? You know what I'm saying? Why? Because we're too afraid. Hey man, I see you. You're in the garage all the time by yourself. Sitting down, quiet, or you're doing this by the time by yourself. What's going on, man? Let's talk. What's going on? And sometimes it's just that conversation, that 10, 15, 20-minute conversation. Hey man, I got you, man. What's going on, man? I'm just stressed, man, financially or whatever's going on.
For sure.
Let's talk, man. What's going on? And sometimes we just need an ear. Like I said before in this podcast, we just need an ear. Sometimes, hey man, you got any help? You got any advice you can give me?
Right.
Dude, all of us are filled, all of our viewers, filled with wisdom and knowledge, filled with, just ways, experiences of things that we went through.
Yeah.
You have stuff that I haven't gone through. I've done things, same thing with you, same thing with our viewers. You guys have done stuff that we have never done before and gone through hell and gone through life that maybe we have never done it. So you have that experience to help other men going, hey man, I see this guy struggling. I see him, something's going on with him. Let me go try to help.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't have to be your friend or, you know, it could be it blows my mind. You know, in New York City, there's neighbors that are next door to other neighbors in like apartment complexes, condos, never met. Never met at all. You know,
I've never met my neighbors.
you know, I'm selling
I
it.
know.
You know, never met. And it's like, and then all of a sudden you hear boom. Yeah, what was that?
Right.
And you call the police. I'm like, hey man, I heard something going on. You know, PD comes in, opens the door, shot himself.
Yeah.
Shit, I didn't even know the guy.
Yeah.
Man, you could have knocked your door. Hey, bro, I have a little barbecue, man. You know, I'm having this, or, you know, have a little party. You want to come over? Have some drinks, have some food? Doesn't take that much.
Right.
Doesn't take that much.
Change a man's life.
Change a man's life, but just with the conversation.
Yeah.
Change a man's life with just an invite.
Right.
Hey,
And
man,
it's great you're the one saying that because you practice what you preach. You're
No doubt.
the epitome of doing all those things.
you know, and it's
More
because
so than either one of us, for sure.
No doubt.
it's because people done that to me. I saw the importance. I saw how much it affected me, and I go, I want to do that to other people. You know what I mean? I want to make sure, hey, whatever we're doing, hey, you're invited. Hey, this, come over this, come over this. And sometimes my wife gets frustrated because she's like, how many people you invited to this party? And I'm like,
Always.
oh man, I bought more food and more
Yeah.
drinks, and
Yeah.
because it's just I want everybody being invited. You know what I mean? I want everybody to have a good time. You know what I mean? And just get to know each other and have fun. You know, and I mean, look at it. Coming up this week, this Saturday will be 1 year I've known you.
Yeah.
1 year, and the next month will be 1 year I've known you.
Look at that.
1 year, bro. 1 year's gone like this, and look at our friendship.
Yeah.
Look how what we built here.
Right.
You know, and it's awesome because you guys accepted me. This guy's goofy. This guy's this. But
It's got DM and my wife.
you know, and then at the same time though, you guys didn't judge me. You guys didn't criticize me. You guys didn't be like, hey, you know, this is going on. We just all how we are now. You know what I mean? And the warning signs. I mean, you know, you were telling me about a story the other day about warning signs and how people were picking up on stuff. And you know, I just wish people paid attention to that more and got to know and talk to other men and fix that.